Thanks for joining our Stocks to Watch series, your trusted source for investment information. I'm Ashley Berry, and we're welcoming First Nordic Metals President and CEO Taj Singh and Chief Development Officer Adam Cegielski. First Nordic Metals, a very recent merger between Barsele Minerals Corp and Goldline Resources, is an exploration stage company engaging in the acquisition, exploration, and evaluation of mineral properties in Sweden, specifically gold and base metals. It holds a 45% interest in the Barsele Gold Project that covers an area of more than 100,000 hectares in the northern part of the country. With new stock symbols, they're trading on the TSXV as FNM and the OTC markets in the United States as FNMCF. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. So, Adam, I'd like to start with you. Of course, congratulations on the merger. You co-founded and served as the CEO and director of Goldline Resources and at the helm of this merger, resulting in First Nordic Metals. So, in your view, why was merging these two companies really the right decision?
Thanks, Ashley. Pretty simple. Consolidating two companies that now control 100% of a 104 hectare property covering 100 kilometers of strike. It was a natural fit. Taj joined us as president CEO of the company September 2023, and ultimately he's the one that led this merger through Barsele. After raising a little bit of money, Taj was contacted by Barsele, and it was a natural fit for the two companies to come together.
Fantastic. Well, Taj, I'd like to ask you, the First Nordic portfolio now contains multiple highly prospective projects. What would the flagship projects of the company really be considered at this point?
Thanks, Ashley. The flagship and key focus of our company is our very, very large contiguous land position covering the entire gold line belt in northern Sweden and a significant portion of the well-known prolific Skellefteå VMS belt, where it intersects the gold line. Property package, as Adam had pointed out, spans over 100,000 hectares, making us the largest claim holder of all kind of resource development companies in Sweden. So the key discovery really is the Barsele gold deposit, which was discovered several years ago, which is now in a JV with Agnico. And another key discovery is what Goldline has brought to the package. It's the 100% owned Powbacken discovery, about 30 kilometers south, and discovered, again, like I said, by Goldline, and it bears a lot of significant early days similarities to the Barsele gold deposit in terms of mineralization style, even looking at the drill core, the grades and the widths and the overall footprint of Barsele. So it really makes the package, the potential to grow, very exciting and probably very much in terms of high probability. To the north of Barsele, we also have the Storjukten project, which is earlier stage than Powbacken, but it had a historic artisanal gold mine on it, and we actually think that could also be similar to Barsele as well. So our real focus here is that gold line belt in Sweden, because we control 100 kilometers of the strike, and we think there's going to be multiple discoveries here on top of what's already been discovered.
Yeah, and thanks, Taj, for that. To continue that thought, the gold line is known for its large gold deposits. I think it would be really helpful for our viewers and for our listeners to really understand what these belts have hosted as far as gold deposits, and also maybe the next steps in your exploration program on this property to tap into the potential of that belt.
Yeah, there's been about 7-8 major gold deposits in this kind of area, both between the gold line belt and the Skellefteå belt. And in terms of base metal deposits, many of which are gold rich, there's probably over 20 kind of sizable known deposits, a lot of them owned by the large company Boliden. But our next steps here really is our focus, as I noted before, is the Barsele gold project. We think there's obvious growth at depth and along strike. We think we've only scratched the surface, we think, at that deposit, and we think there's obvious growth. And then we think there is other Barsele style deposits on the package we have. And so when you really start looking past a year, 2 years, 3 years, you're talking about a deposit that's already sitting at close to about 3 million ounces, but all of a sudden another 1 million or 2 ounces is found elsewhere on the property package. Another 1,000,000 or 2 ounces is found at another part of the property package, and they're all contiguous. You're talking really about a gold camp, which I think is very unique, that this kind of property package and portfolio is still available and will hopefully be controlled by one company. So 5, 6, 7 million ounces is really a target that I think in the long run could be achievable here.
Yeah, it sounds like a tremendous opportunity for growth and success. Adam, what advantages does First Nordic Metals have based on its location, in your opinion?
Yeah, great question. There's obviously, we think there's lots of advantages. First one is being a partner with Agnico Eagle. Agnico has been manager of this project for, quite some time, almost 10 years now. So, you've got a decade worth of tremendous technical work and relationships with the locals. And really, this is the major, Barsele now, the deposit is the major asset in the portfolio. So having Agnico as a partner is great. The jurisdiction's fantastic. You've got really low drilling costs. I think all-in drilling costs are about $200 per meter. So again, very low compared to the rest of the world. Mining costs are incredibly low. You've got very, low cost power. You've got producers very successful in the area. And most importantly, I think Taj touched on it. You've got one company that controls now a belt that's, over 100 kilometers long. This kind of a portfolio, in Ontario, which has very similar geology, this would be controlled by 7, 8 different companies. So to have this under one, one umbrella is quite a powerful situation for us. So we do have a bit of a first mover opportunity here to explore, make new deposits, make new discoveries, and really build this into a tremendous opportunity.
Fantastic. And I would have to imagine that there was a lot of due diligence on your part, Taj, on the Barsele project before the merger transaction. Could you talk about its advantages?
Yeah, listen, it's that we did get very active in the due diligence. It's just a natural thing to want to do, and I'm probably even more so like this. But it was going to be a transformational transaction, so you want to spend the right amount of time. And really, I mean, Adam touched on it as well, but the fact that Agnico, one of the largest senior gold producers in the world, who are known for being so technically credible and of such high quality, them being behind all the drilling and the data, was a huge, huge positive for me. And then when I looked at the project, I think we were in a very good situation, because with the current resource that they have, like I said, close to about 3 million ounces, we kind of said, imagine if there was no additional growth. I think it's very highly probable, based on what I've discussed and the rest of our land package, that there is going to be growth. But just looking at the project as is, it's, we tried to look at it as, is this a mine? And our work came back saying, yes, it is. The economics have very good potential. And we also, in addition, think there's significant room for growth. So it was a fairly straightforward exercise, and the quality of the data being there helped a lot, but it was a very straightforward answer for us: is this is going to be a mine.
I was just going to say a no-brainer for you. So Adam, of course, you have a long and rich history in this space. What do you believe this merger really positions you in a way to advance your projects more effectively and efficiently?
The gold market has been a challenge for many years now. The gold price is very strong, and the gold equities are very weak. So, a lot of investors often look for more mature companies, companies that are larger, companies that, have I guess, a larger footprint, from a resource perspective. So as an exploration company, it was a little bit more challenging to raise capital. But now, we can approach the market as a company that has consolidated the district. Obviously we're more liquid from the shareholder base. We've got a greater number of shareholders, and we're just a bigger company now that can raise capital, and it's less dilutive to our shareholders as well. So, working off a multi-million ounce base as a project, and having control of a 100-kilometer belt, allows us to, as Taj mentioned, potentially develop a camp here. And that's obviously the goal. And we're obviously well positioned now with the merger complete, name change complete, to execute our plan of capitalizing the company and advancing the balance of our projects.
Just to expand on one of your statements there, you said, you know, the gold price is very strong, but the equities are weak. I think for our viewers and our listeners, could you expand on that a little bit about kind of where you envision where we're at right now with gold?
You know, I'm like everyone else, we're watching all the experts give their commentary. It's a very unique situation where you've got gold at almost $2,200 an ounce, and the equities are not really quite performing. You've had a disconnect almost with the price of gold going up and the equities going down. And I think everyone's just looking at the US dollar right now and saying, you know, what's happening here with the interest rate situation, what's happening with the US dollar. And ultimately, I think you've had cost increases across the board. You've had, you know, COVID and that really created, I guess, an economic situation where inflationary pressures are on the production side as well. So you've had this huge increase in the price of gold, and now you've had this increase in costs. And this is our new reality, $2,200 gold. So my view is that we keep seeing the price of gold strengthen here, and you're going to see the profitability of the mining companies really increase significantly. And, you know, just, you know, if you look at it again, if you're a million ounce producer, um, you know, if you're producing a million ounces a year and, you know, price of gold goes up $100 an ounce or $200 an ounce, that's free cash flow increases of, you know, $1 to $2 billion per year. So these margins are going to be seen in the financials of these companies in 2024, 2025. And, you know, it's been I think 4 months of greater than $2,000 price of gold closing here. So, you know, everyone's waiting for these equities to pick up. But, you know, until then, we have to manage ourselves carefully and prepare for what we think is going to be a very exciting time.
Yeah, really important points. Thanks for that. And I would ask you both, beyond what you've already mentioned, what really makes First Nordic Metals a compelling investment opportunity at this point?
Listen, Adam touched on it. Is first you have to, as an investor, I'm trying to look at it as an investor, is you have to first believe in the space. And I think there's a lot of reasons to believe in the space right now as it is. We won't go much more into that, but gold really looks like it's about to take off here, and equities have a huge way to catch up. And we all know when they can go, they move very quickly, and the explorers and developers actually move much more aggressively versus the producers, which are still steadily moving along, still very undervalued. But so you're in the right space. And then you kind of have to think of three things, right? Asset, jurisdiction, and the team. The asset, as I noted before, we think it already has potential to be a mine. We think it has very obvious growth potential, just right at the project and along the belt with the other projects that came along through Gold Line. And I think it could be very significant. This could be a district. This could be a camp. Number two is jurisdiction. I mean, Adam touched on it, but Sweden is a fantastic mining jurisdiction. It's very mining centric. It's getting even more so. The costs are unbelievably low in terms of mining costs, exploration costs. There's skilled labor, automated often. And it's very unexplored, underexplored. Like the geology is very similar to Northern Ontario, which is prolific for gold. This is the same geology you have here, and it's just simply been underexplored. And then, you know, the third part is a great team. I think we bring a really well-rounded team that's covered all spectrums from exploration to development to production in various companies in various jurisdictions. And we're ready, hungry, and energetic to really push this along, and have had past successes as well that we can build off of. So those kind of three things stick out to me: a great asset, great jurisdiction, and a very strong team.
And I'll answer that question from my perspective. You know, ultimately, I think, you know, team, jurisdiction, asset. You know, Taj doesn't want to talk too much about himself, but obviously he's an incredibly competent, you know, mine developer. He's had tremendous success in the past at both building projects, evaluating opportunities, and selling projects. So, you know, we as a team are lucky to have leadership that's highly experienced on the metal development side and mineral development side. Jurisdiction's fantastic. And I think, you know, a different perspective is when the market turns, when capital flows into the space, they're going to be looking for, you know, the best opportunities. So obviously they're going to look at team and jurisdiction and assets. But when you're a 2.5, 3 million ounce deposit, you know, I think because costs have gone up so much, these, you know, 1 million ounce deposits are going to suffer a little bit, you know, originally from getting attention, because we all know costs have gone up. So what, you know, what might have been a million ounce development story might need to be 1.5 million ounces or 2 million ounces. We're starting off at 2.5 to 3 million ounces. We have a multi-million ounce belt here that we control. So I think capital is going to look for all the typical things they would see, but ultimately that sweet spot at the beginning of a exciting market is when you've got a larger base. This 2.5, 3 million ounce base gives us a really highly leverageable economic situation, and the ability to add, millions of ounces across the belt is a real potential for us. So I think we're going to be front and center to a lot of people's eyes when this market finally does turn.
And I might add, a very strong leadership at the helm. I'd like to mention for investors that in connection with its name change, the company will be launching its new website at www.fnmetals.com, which will go live in early April 2024. President and CEO Taj Singh and Chief Development Officer Adam Cegielski of First Nordic Metals. Congratulations on the merger, and thank you both for your time and for sharing your very important story here with us on Stocks to Watch. We look forward to seeing your new website and hearing additional updates.